We're all in this constant battle against stress and distraction at work. It feels like a fight we can't win. But what if I told you the solution isn't about working harder, but about actually rewiring our brains? Let's get into the science of mindful productivity. So, does this sound familiar? That feeling of being pulled in a million different directions at once? Your to-do list just seems to get longer and longer, and your focus, it's just fractured. Well, if you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. This isn't some personal failing, it's practically a feature of our modern work lives. And look, this isn't just a hunch. It's a huge deal in our professional lives. According to the American Psychological Association, a whopping 81% of employees say that mental health support at work is a major factor for them. This isn't just a nice-to-have perk anymore, it's an absolute necessity. So, let's break down what's really going on. All right, so let's properly frame this challenge that, let's be honest, we're all facing. This feeling of being constantly overwhelmed, it has a cause, and it's deeply rooted in the very structure of how we work today. We are swimming in an ocean of notifications, back-to-back meetings, and this unspoken pressure to be on 24/7. It's not just stressful, it's a direct path to burnout. Our productivity takes a nosedive, and more importantly, so does our own well-being. So, how do we possibly fight back against all this? Well, the answer might be a word you've probably heard a million times: mindfulness. But hold on, we're not talking about some vague spiritual concept. We're talking about a practical, science-backed tool for your brain. So, let's cut through the noise. What is mindfulness really? At its absolute core, it's just the simple act of paying attention to right now, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, the sounds around you, but without judging it. Think of it like being a curious, neutral observer of your own mind. And yeah, mindfulness has these incredibly deep, ancient roots in Eastern traditions, but it's also a powerhouse tool in modern psychology. But here's the key. While the packaging might look different, the shared core is exactly the same. It's all about that present moment, non-judgmental awareness. This right here is my absolute favorite way to think about it. You go to the gym to train your body, right? Well, you practice mindfulness to train your brain. It is an active process of building up your mental muscles for focus, for stress management, for emotional regulation. It's a workout. Okay, so if it's a workout for our brains, how does it actually work? How does it help with that constant feeling of being overwhelmed? Let's dive into the science. It really comes down to a surprisingly simple idea: a balance. It's the balance between what your job demands from you and the resources you have to meet those demands. So on one side of the scale, you've got the job demands. That's the heavy workload, the tight deadlines, all that pressure. And on the other side, you've got your job resources, things like a supportive team, but also, and this is key, your own personal skills. Stress? That's just what happens when the demand side of the scale gets way too heavy. And this is exactly where mindfulness comes in. The research is clear. It's a personal resource. It's a tool you can build in your own toolkit to help you manage all those demands. It's not about changing your job, it's about building your own capacity to handle it. And the data totally backs this up. It's a clear chain reaction. The more mindful an employee is, the less stress they feel. And when that stress goes down, their well-being shoots up, and they are way less likely to think about quitting. It's a win for you and a win for your company. But okay, it's not just about playing defense against stress. Mindfulness also helps you play offense. It doesn't just reduce the bad stuff. It actively boosts the good stuff, like your focus and your actual productivity. Now, get this. Mindfulness isn't some abstract mental trick. It physically changes your brain. Yeah, you heard me right. Consistent practice literally strengthens the neural pathways in your brain that are responsible for attention, focus, and memory. You are building a better, stronger brain. Look, we've all been sold this myth about multitasking being a superpower, but the science says it's a brain drain. Your brain isn't actually doing two things at once. It's just switching back and forth really, really fast. And that switching costs you. It jacks up your stress, makes you prone to errors, and it's exhausting. A mindful brain, on the other hand, transfers single tasking, doing one thing at a time and doing it incredibly well. All right, so the science is super compelling, but let's get real for a second. How do you actually do this in the middle of a chaotic workday? I mean, who has an hour to go meditate? The secret, it turns out, is something researchers call micro-practices. A fascinating study on busy junior doctors found that the most effective approach wasn't long, formal meditation, but super short, simple exercises they could weave right into their insane schedules. This makes it accessible for literally anyone. Here's one you can try with me right now. It's called box breathing. Just breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold again for 4. That's it. Repeating this for just a minute or two can totally reset your nervous system and bring back your focus. And the best part is, you can find moments for these micro practices all day. Take a mindful walk to grab a coffee, really feeling your feet on the floor. Block off just 15 minutes for pure, uninterrupted, single tasking on your most important project. Or even just practice mindful listening in your next conversation, giving that person your absolute, undivided attention. I just love this quote from one of the doctors in that study. It perfectly captures the return on investment here. You are not losing time by taking these tiny breaks. You are gaining it back with way better focus and clarity. A few minutes of mindfulness can seriously give you back an hour of productive, less stressed work. So if you remember one thing, let it be this. The goal is not perfection. You don't have to become some Zen master overnight. It's all about progress. Just start small. Try 1 2-minute practice a day. I promise you, consistency is so much more powerful than intensity. So, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. We are obsessed with time management, right? Calendars, apps, hacks. But what if we've been focusing on the wrong thing this whole time? What if true productivity isn't about managing the clock at all, but about managing your energy and your attention? That is the power of mindful productivity. Thanks for joining me.